Hey guys, it's Saru, and the biggest update in Swords of Legends Online, which begins to completely change the way the game works, titled The Firestone Legacy, or as other players know it as, 2.0, is finally set to release on March 3rd. I got the opportunity to play in a test server for content creators ahead of time, and thanks to Gameforge, I'm able to share with you exactly what's coming in 2.0, or The Firestone Legacy, and all of the amazing content that you should expect, of which there is plenty. So, let's get right into it. First and foremost, before we begin, if you are a brand new player coming to the game now that it has become free to play, welcome aboard. Stay tuned with the video and you can be a winner of a free Swords of Legends Online Founder Pack, which means, well, not much for you as a player really right now, but you'll be able to receive some awesome gifts for having this edition once the game update goes live, so stay tuned. But yes, welcome to all of the brand new players. It's exciting to see everyone here, not necessarily in this video, but I mean in the game itself. So let's get the main question out of the way that everyone's going to be thinking about. No, Swords of Legends Online is not pay to win, nor is it pay for convenience. And no, Gameforge has no power to make that happen. Even if their history with MMOs would say otherwise, this particular game, they don't really have that power. The developers of this game are 100% strictly against pay to win and convenience items, enough so that they won't even allow you to buy character slots or inventory slots, which, I mean, to me isn't pay to win, but for them it is. So let's just get that out of the way. So we're going to talk about absolutely everything coming to the Firestone Legacy, and this is pretty much an overhaul of how Swords of Legends Online plays. There is a lot to talk about, from the PvE content that comes with dungeons and raids, to understanding the Parchment system, Elixirs, Talismans, Jades, Runestone, Soulforces, and so much more. So let's start out with the first one. Starting out in Swords of Legends Online, players will notice a significant change in how leveling works. Before all of that, when you start out the game, you'll notice a completely brand new server select UI, as well as a brand new starting screen. If you're a brand new player that's literally joining when free to play comes out, this means nothing to you, but for old players, this means something. This also changes the way the starting screen and the character selection screen look. You'll be given an extra 3 character slots so that you can create an additional 3 classes, so a total of 9, I believe, if my math is not wrong, whether it's the new classes or not. If you're leveling a brand new character, such as the new classes, the Spirit Warrior and Crystal Warrior, or the Foxmage, as well as the original classes, I guess, you'll get to Student 1 rather easily instead of the 8 hours it used to take. And then you can begin your journey into Sage, which I guess if I had to explain it to you, it is like saying Student 37. So for those confused and brand new to this game, leveling from level 1 to 37 will put you on Student 1. So if you begin at Beginner 1 and you go to level 37, you are Student 1. So keep that in mind. At level 74, technically, you'll be Sage 1. So from Beginner 1 to Student 1 is your 37, and then from Student 1, you'll level up to Student 37, which turns you into Sage 1. Hopefully that makes sense, or you can just say I'm level 74, I guess, but that makes less sense for some reason, and not many people will understand that. Now yes, there is a lot of content that is locked behind the student level. The same will happen for Sage. Your student quest line, so from Student 1 to Student 37, will begin with the lane over at Cloudrise, which is in this building right here, which will automatically give you 150 gear score gear. I don't necessarily have video of this, but this is to guarantee you that the quest line from Student 1 to Sage 1 is easier to achieve, and trust me, there are some cranky fellas there that hurt quite a bit. So as you start to go through this quest line and your brand new cultivation quests, which are showing you new areas altogether to explore, you'll receive 165 gear. In fact, by the end of Sage 1, which should take you about an hour to do, but a bit longer if you're actually following the storyline, you should be pretty much full 165 gear. I wouldn't worry too much about enchanting unless you really need to, but these dungeons are optimized for 155 gear, so players will have to have a mix of 150 and 165 gear, and then do the dungeons to kind of replace that gear. So day 1 we'll see Firestone Grave, Rotting Grotto, and Heavenly Gate Labyrinth normal modes, and then roughly 2 weeks later we'll see our hard modes, and then get our raid, which is Langshan Bridge, I believe it's for the first one, and then we'll be seeing more dungeons, and then another raid, and then more hard modes, and so on and so forth, and eventually extreme modes. And this will basically progress our gear from the starter 150 gear with the Firestone Legacy up to about 210, and then eventually into the 300s and about 2.2 2.2 if they're following the exact formula, but I'm not entirely sure. So in fact, you'll be able to notice that in the pets menu, which by the way, if you're looking at this right now, this is the battle pass pet. So if you buy the battle pass in the Firestone Legacy, when you complete it, this is the pet that you'll get. So if you're a fan of the future Leafman class, that's not the actual name, but I guess it's Druid, I guess, or Bell Ringer, then this is the pet for you. But anyways, in the understanding menu for pets, you'll see that 195 gear and understanding, which these are your parchments that whenever you get a parchment for current or infinite, I believe they're going to be called unlimited now, they will count towards your current progression for your parchments. For example, when you're starting out, everything's going to be 180, so every time you get parchments in general, this will give you a currency that you can purchase gear. So let's say for 180, you have 500 parchments for some reason, and there's an item that you can purchase, let's say a gear piece or whatever, that costs 500 parchments. When you purchase that, it will count towards your understanding. So once you purchase that, 500 understanding will become available to you. So you need to have this done by the time that 195 rolls around on April 6th. And then you do the same thing until May 4th, which is where you would get your 210 understanding. So this is basically your progression mapped out for the next few months, and then we should see 2.2 afterwards shortly, which would take us to about the 300s, like I said, assuming nothing has changed. I have no idea. So your Jade, Soulforce, and upgrading system is completely different. Starting with your materials, you'll actually be able to find them around the world if you really want to. There is a cool tool somewhere out there, I think it's called solotools.com, I can't necessarily remember. So if you really want to map out where to go, you can go there. But there is also a brand new material shop that you'll be able to go and find in Cloudrise with the NPC called Liu Ruwan, which allows you to purchase a weekly limit of materials, additives, and all that from 1.0 and 2.0 content. So if you can't seem to find any materials for some reason because of activity or whatever, this is your one-stop shop for it. For your upgrading system going forward, you'll be able to use something called runestones. These you can get from anywhere around the world basically. There is additional sources from this. You can purchase this. You can get this from quests and brand new dungeons, as well as in Cloudrise, the Lengshuan Street Merchant. As you upgrade, you'll find new jades around the world that are beautifully colored and have all different effects. Now this is probably going to be really interesting for the older players. So if I were to level up the sculpting mirror, on the left side I can use gold shimmering jade, blue phoenix jades, or delicate frost jades, all with different effects. On the right side, I can add a red flame jade or a drifting sands jade, again with different effects. It doesn't cost anything to socket these, and your newly upgraded items will have additional effects to provide you with extra stats. Additionally, you also have brand new soul forces that will go up to level 11 at the beginning, and then eventually it will be leveled up over time. So for attack, you have Miasma Rain, armor piercing light beam, and flame rain. For regenerative, you have spiritual dew and Sacred Blackstone. And lastly for defense, you'll have Ravenous Hydra, Stone Rod Armor, and Ice Mirror Reflection. Feel free to pause whenever I hover over these items for the details if you want to read them. I'd rather not go over every single one of their descriptions, or this video will be even extra longer. I will say, however, if for some reason you have the brand new original Soul Forces, do not use this at all for your gear. The reason is because all of the effects and damage or whatever will be decreased by 90% because you're now in the Sage level, I guess you can say. This also goes for the brand new Elixirs as well, of which you'll have your own of course, but some examples are Underworld Guard, Wise Mind, Versatility, Concentration, Keen Edge, Rainbringer, Colorful Dew, Illusory Blade, and finally Penetrate Stone. So the same goes for the elixirs themselves. If you have the original ones, they will be decreased by 90%, all the way down to 10%. So whatever effect you're getting from them, you'll only get the 10% effect from them. So you want to actually do the Sage Elixirs and Soul Forces. As for Talismans, you can find them in the Turquoise and Blood Ruvia stores as always, along with the Lengshuan Street Merchant, but doesn't seem to require any recipes just yet. That doesn't mean that's how it's going to be for the rest of the game, but for now this is where you'll be getting all of your necessary talismans. However, you will most likely need new materials from the game in order to make them, so in these stores you'll also find brand new items, maybe even a mount to purchase, and more. So keep a lookout in Cloud Rise and all of these merchants because they're brand new items. For your Ancestral records, all except for Turquoise and Blood Ruvia will be upgraded to level 9, so you'll also be getting a brand new Game of Eternity cards for those Yu-Gi-Oh masters out there. Your companion will get brand new extra level boosts, and your Book of Aeons will unlock a brand new lady to help you out and possibly visit your residence soon. Now if you're excited like me and you're an avid user of the Captain's Assistant, mostly because I love messing with it and providing the community with files to make their game a bit more easier, it got a complete overhaul. Starting with the fact that you have your boss monitoring on, the assistant will just keep monitoring everything that you've done in a local file. So if you disconnect in your game or your game crashes, or maybe you just want to leave for a bit, it will all stay there. So you'll be able to go and check out your previous fights and get all that information. If you want a full explanation on how to use the Captain's Assistant, you can go to my website over at solo.sarumonin.com, which will soon be updated with the brand new Captain's Assistant UI and further explain how that works. But before I continue to one of the new topics, one of the cool things is that you can actually set up a default for all of the new monitors that you set up. So if you set up for an effect or a skill, such as this one for example, whatever you write here is how every time that you create a monitoring event for the Captain's Assistant for a skill from a boss or something, is how it will look default. Before, it used to be an emoji and a bunch of stuff that I actually hated and I had to overwrite every single time. This time you can actually create your own, and this goes for a lot of customization that you can do by yourself, but like I said, I will explain all of that on my website. Now let's get a little into cultivation, which is your main point of pushing through Sage level. If you press J, you'll see the cultivation menu and you'll be able to do history section, which 3 of them will give you 165 gear. Additionally, if you press right here, you'll see a nice way to get extra rewards, Astral XP, and more. This goes for beginner and students. So remember to do this as it's important for your progression, and over here in Target, you'll be able to see the brand new Astral Experience rewards section, and basically you will be able to see here what will give you rewards for Astral XP, which is really important to get Astral points. And remember, you want to do these so that you can get your version rewards for your class, and the classes all look different, but I'm not going to go through every single class. Like I said, I don't want to make this video longer than it should be, but every class will get kind of their own little look sort of for their cultivation targets. In your normal dailies and weeklies, you'll have brand new dailies all for the first couple of weeks with double gold provided for completing them. This includes your weeklies. You can see this right here, everything that you'll be able to receive from completing these, including basically double, which is already included right here anyways. And finally, in your production list, you'll see where you can be the most productive in. So let's say I want to get Mysterious Parchments Unlimited versions. I can click right here in the drop down and see exactly where I'll get that from in my overall cultivation. I see instruction, so I can go to the top of the chat bar in the mentor section, or press Ctrl O and go down here, I guess, and I can get a mentor or something, or you could just right click on somebody and try to be their apprentice or not, but that's one thing you could do, I guess. And finally, the events section, well, you'll see what's happening in that week in terms of active events for the game. One of the brand new Leisureland activities is Flight to the Clouds, which looks a little like this. So the point of this is mostly a racing game. You'll want to get the colors around the map. You'll see them on your UI like you're looking at me right now. I mean, not me, that's not Saru, that's not me. But anyways, some of them will give you abilities, some will give you an extra boost, but the point is to mostly aim at the blue arrow that's in the screen showing you. And it's pretty fun if you like to race, but it's not only about getting to the end, it's also about getting extra points and not messing up. So you'll want to be hasty and you'll win. For Leisureland, at least this is what it looks like for girls. This is the costume and what the Globetrotter animated title for this season looks like. If you're not really sure what Globetrotter is, it's basically every time that you do your Leisureland every single week, you'll get XP, which will push you to another level of the ranking, I guess you could say. Everyone can do this. There is no competition to it except if you want to be the first or not, but it's not necessarily important. And after a few weeks, you'll just completely top that off. You'll be a Globetrotter and you'll get this animated title along with the costumes as well. I wish I could show you guys some dungeon gameplay, but I don't want to spoil that for you because I personally believe that players should just go in and they can kind of experience it themselves. But personally, I find them fun and I'm quite excited for Langshuan Bridge because, well, look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, you get it. You have your 4 main bosses and about 13 mini bosses, all which have their own mechanics to do. And yes, there is an extreme version of this raid. There are also brand new areas to visit, so let's start with Chang Mountain, which has a beautiful view, and your storyline for stage will take you here. actually will take you through all the brand new places that I'm about to show you. But through here, you'll be able to activate the Tianmu Plain, which I can't fly in. This is the non-flyable area, but still, I find it to be one of the most beautiful locations, especially for pictures, and one that you'll get used to for doing content. Over at Taihua Mountain, you'll be able to visit Chixia's house. I butchered that name, but whatever. Which, by the way, this is where you'll be getting your 135 ring. I know a lot of players probably just cheated their way in, bought it with their legendary ring, but this is where you'll get your 135 ring. If you're interested, not that it matters really anymore, but I figured I'd let you know. Changfu Garden, which is rather ethereal and reminds me of Sparkwood Gardens as a map, but prettier. You'll be doing some questing in this area as well for stage related content. And then finally, we'll go to Sea of Flowers in Heavenly Ridge, which is beautiful for pictures and has, well, as the name implies, a lot of flowers. I won't show Lunar Institute, but I will give you guys a quick look at Snowing Blossom Paradise, which is the class home for both the Warrior and the Foxmage. Fun fact, there are 3 songs in this map. One for the map itself, which is the normal one that you'd hear at Floral Palace, I guess. One for the Foxmage area, which is over here to the left. A lot of the content here, if you're a Foxmage, is what you'll be visiting for stage unlocking and astrals and training and whatever the case. And on the opposite side, we have the Warrior section. Again, another song plays here. And the same thing for warriors in terms of astrals and unlocking sage. All of these maps that I've mentioned will include new treasures to find. So I'm sure you'll have fun looking for those. Maybe I'll update my treasure guide and find them. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. If you want me to make a video on that, I can. But it is rather time consuming, so I don't know. A lot of people find them before I even do that. So just let me know. Now for PvP. There is a brand new 3v3 map called Astral Ravines for Garden of Blades. You have the 2 faction stores that have been updated with the new items, so the Mysticism and the Heavenly Children. You can see here that there are a few changes to the store, not much, but something at least for players to be interested in. The same for the other faction over here. There is also a brand new Battle of the Continents that allows for players to fight, which is also kind of a board game which will grow your points natively and passively, and also give you some extra strengths, I guess. Not much to talk about this, but pretty much your team will try and get as many points by killing the other team and also occupying the board. Speaking of which, if you're in a guild or alliance, there is a brand new event for alliances called Break and Raid, which you can participate in Weishuan Highlands, Floral Palace, and Huaishu Village. You can earn combat spirit through this, and the gist of it is basically there will be random locations called the Eye of the Formation Guardians that an alliance can occupy and then can fight other alliances in the area participating in this. And over time, there will be fragments that will break apart and will give players that participate random items such as Jades or something of value for your progression. Not necessary, but it's something to do, and no, it does not give you any activity points. So all in all, the Firestone Legacy brings brand new content, new progression, new leveling boosts for all of your characters, 3 brand new character slots, new ways to upgrade and stock your gear, new materials, Soulforces, Elixirs, activities, PvP modes, and maps, as well as season, let's not forget about that. A level up to your Ancestral records to 9, 8 new zones, new items for your factions, new activities for your alliances, companion level ups, new Astral XP and points, rework to the Captain Assistant, new treasures, lots of cosmetic items for Cultivation, Leisureland, and Emerald Clouds, new Book of Aeons progression, new Game of Eternity cards, a working combination tool, that's right, I said it, and a look at the next 3 progression paths for 180, 195, and 210 and their release date as well. All in all, a huge update for the Firestone Legacy, and there's even more that's not added just yet, but remember, we'll have the first 3 dungeons on release with lots of things to do to catch up. Hard modes, then raids, then new dungeons, then new raid, then hard dungeons, then a hard raid, then finally pushing into extreme for raids. Now, if you're interested in a free copy of Swords and Legends Online, let me know in the comments below what your favorite feature of the brand new update is. On Monday, February 28th, I will choose a winner, which I will comment under their comment, and I will let them know they won. From that point on, you have roughly 2 days to activate this, and if you do it beforehand, you'll get the appreciation package, but if you do it afterwards, you're not going to get it. So just let me know in the comments below what your favorite feature is from the Firestone Legacy. Once again, a special thanks to Gameforge for inviting me to play the test server in advance with other content creators. As for you guys, are you excited for the Firestone Legacy? Did I miss anything that you want me to update you on? Let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. And remember guys, this is just the beginning of the Firestone Legacy. Who knows what else is to come? I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love and as always, till next time friends.